Yes.
Bogdanov, he did it.
Il porte.
He went all in.
Dump it. Oh! Oh!
You heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero. When it comes out, zero.
Just hodl, bro.
Welcome to the TGH Podcast. Today we have the pleasure of inviting our first female guest, Niamh, long-term holder, RSR and crypto enthusiast. It's great to have you on the show, Niamh. Welcome.
Hey guys,
Welcome.
how you doing? Market's looking a bit shit this morning, I suppose.
It really is, yeah. We've been waiting for lower prices, but it's still holding that 28k level, isn't it? And until that breaks, then I feel like we're safe. But time will tell.
People they always say when they get this lower that they're going to buy, but there's a lot of people that when it gets this lower that the fear is still there, and people don't actually. They'll have this goal in their head where if it gets to 20,000, I'm going to buy, and then when it gets there, the fear it keeps people from actually jumping in. So I'm hoping that people will start buying like around 28 is going to be breaking probably, I'd say, and we're going down. Now I'm no TA expert or anything, so I leave that to the technical analysis guys. But yeah, it's looking a bit shit. Yeah.
I'm not sure if anyone really knows what's going to happen. People sit there, don't they, and say we are. I mean, my thoughts. It would be nice to get lower than 28k, 25k BTC. But everyone wants 25k BTC, and that's what makes me think, are we really going to go lower if that's what everyone wants? From experience, I've always found that the opposite happens. But believe you me, I would love 25k.
It could actually go either way. If everyone's waiting for a certain price, we either don't see the dip or it just keeps dipping, and then we end up with even lower figures.
I know. I think a lot of people are running as well. Like you can see that the people that were there 4 months ago, everyone seems to have scattered. And the real holders and the real kind of crypto enthusiasts are kind of hanging around now.
Yeah.
Which I love to see, because you've got this kind of it's like a clearance, or there's been this kind of clearing the air a little bit with all the meme coins and the dog coins, all the shit coins coming out. And that I feel like there's kind of a bit of a cloud lifting, and I don't know what it is, like you're just getting the better people that you can follow and that you can see through all the shit now on even Twitter or on YouTube. And I'm enjoying that side of it as well, like with the market dipping. It's not just, getting the cheaper prices.
I love that, because you're so true. We've been saying that as well. A lot of the less experienced people, traders, investors, are leaving. A lot of people are scared. Some people are genuinely taking a break. But the hardcore enthusiasts always stick around, and it's in these times you know who they are. I think we connected through that in some ways. I think we got talking on Twitter because of that exact reason. And there's other people as well that I've connected with. And it's in these times where if you're networking with the right people, you build. If you come back when the market's pumping, you sort of miss out on all this, don't you? It's in these times where you can find the true believers, the holders, and the guys you want to network with. So it's really good to get you on the show today. We'd love to know more about your story. What were you doing before crypto? How did you get involved in crypto? Give us some insight into your sort of trading strategy and your style. I know you're a fundamental, you like to go for strong projects and hold, but I'll let you tell us. I'm really intrigued to find out your story.
Yeah, well, I'm a nurse by trade. I mean, I started nursing back in 2009. I've nursed for 12 years and still am to this day.
Oh.
But getting into crypto started in 2017. My father-in-law actually made me watch a documentary called Magic Money, and I'm sure most people have seen it on YouTube. Basically talking about Bitcoin and this new currency coming out. And I remember watching it and thinking, what the hell is this? Checked out the price. It was January 2017, and it was about $900 at the time. I thought, I don't really want to put $900 into something that I don't actually understand. And when I think about it today, I'm like, Jesus, why didn't I buy a few of them? Because I got to August and I remember saying, I wonder what the price of Bitcoin is now. Took out my phone, it was 4,500. And I was like, well, shit, I could have like 4 times my money here. So I actually went and bought 1 Bitcoin. Now, trying to find how to buy Bitcoin was the hardest part, because I think most of us, when we start out, we haven't got a clue what we're doing. So it was a Google search. How do you buy Bitcoin?
It was harder back then, wasn't it, as well? It was much harder back then than how it is now.
Yeah, 100%. I think it was Coinbase popped up and I went onto Coinbase, and first, like, even the non-pro version of it was complicated for me. Like, I was seeing all these coins coming up in Ethereum and Stellar and stuff. And I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I thought it was just Bitcoin. So I bought 1 Bitcoin, I remember, and it's like doubled in price probably in about 6 weeks. Wow. And I was thinking, Jesus, this is mental. And you can imagine as somebody coming into crypto and starting off thinking that this is like magic, because I'm after doubling my money. So I actually pulled it out at about 10,500. It rode all the way up to whatever the all-time high was of 17, 18. And I remember thinking at that time, damn, I should have held on to it. Yeah. And then it crashed and the whole thing went down. Got to about 3,000 and I decided to go back in, but wow. I split up at that point and like bought several different random coins. And that's kind of how it started out. I kind of wanted to not just be in Bitcoin. I wanted to kind of spread around and have a look and see what else there was to,
have a dabble.
Better things.
Yeah. Have a dabble. It's quite emotional, isn't it, when you're just starting out? I mean, I still remember, I remember watching an old woman, American woman, talking about how to buy Bitcoin, and she was really slow, I remember she was Southern American, so like she was like, and now we just go to this wallet, and like and I was like watching step by step, and I couldn't keep up. I still couldn't keep up, and I was like almost shaking. I was just so nervous. But
that sending of it as well. I mean, when you're sending it across, like literally, I have to pace the kitchen to this day. If I'm sending large amounts of any coin to a different wallet and it hasn't popped up in the first like 4 or 5 minutes, I start to freak out. And this, like, it's nerve wracking because there's nobody to call if you lose it. There's no one to be like, how do I find where this money is? You are the manager of yourself. You are in charge of your own money and you're in charge of your own keys. So you got to know what you're doing. It's terrifying. It is when you start out.
It's a massive step, isn't it, to take? And so many people just can't take that step, can they? It's just terrifying. It is terrifying, straight up terrifying. And we don't talk about this, do we, really? We don't talk about this. If you mentioned this on Twitter, people would be like, oh, shut the fuck up, get some balls. Shut the fuck up.
Get some balls. I mean, you guys should know what you're doing and you shouldn't be here if you're not like, understanding. And it's like, 90% of the people on Twitter don't have a fucking clue what they're doing. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't think anybody does. Nobody 100% knows what they're doing. And anyone who says they do is a liar. So this drives me nuts. Like, and people are like, oh, this expertise, and I know what I'm talking about, and I made this call, and it's fucking, I perfected, I sold the top and bought the bottom, and piss off. Nobody fucking does that. I can't stand it. It just grinds my gears so much.
100%. It's
Twitter really is the worst platform for that, because you have these TA accounts. They're posting like 20 different TAs per day, and one of them kind of fits, and then they're I told you, look my tweet.
It's propaganda, isn't it? They use, if they do get something right, then they will be all over it. But if they get something wrong with us, forget about it. It never happened. It wasn't me. What? Deleted. It's like,
they always comment something like TA ideas or something, and then it was just an idea, man.
I think I respect people the most that actually admit to their mistakes and that will say, okay, I made a wrong call here, or that won't delete their tweets and be like, okay, yeah, I said that. They're the people that I follow because I feel like they're the most genuine people that you can follow. But it's really hard to figure out who's genuine and who's not.
100%.
So when you're looking at 100,000 account followers, like, these guys probably bought a lot of their followers early on, and then it creates that domino effect where it kind of snowballs with the followers. And they don't know what they're talking about. There's some that do, but most of these guys, it's the lower account. Like even people that have like 100 followers, these guys are so smart. They're so smart. They're smart enough to not be on Twitter as well, I feel. I just get that vibe from them.
Yeah, I do feel like you do get that in Twitter. There's a lot of good, but there's also bad. And it's finding a way to distinguish between the good and the bad, the passionate people, the people who are just sort of here. And it all goes back to this, I always say working virtually or networking virtually or being in a virtual space is so much harder than being in the real world, because you can't see what someone else is doing. Are they going to... you can't promise. You have to deliver to gain trust between two people. You have to deliver. You have to show them the goods, and that's the only way of really proving that you're a reliable, genuine person. And that is so time consuming, because you have to go through ruts and racks of people who aren't genuine. I think we've all been there. We've all had people you can't trust. They're just using you to get by. There's so many, probably a lot more of them than there are genuine people. So it's a really good point that for anyone as well, newer investors who are watching, is going through that process, is being fully aware of that, and looking out for the genuine people. And when you find them, hold them tight because it's true, isn't it? It's true. My little network, our little network, we just, there's so much trust involved. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I agree. Like, and you get these people that you nearly make lifelong friends from them, because you feel like they get you, you get them. It takes a while. Like you'll get random DMs from people, and I'm extremely cautious when people send me a DM, because usually it turns out people are looking for money, or they're looking for you to like do giveaways to get them more followers and stuff. And it's really hard to kind of wade through the bullshit as well. Like people are very manipulative as well. They can be extremely good at reeling you in. So I have to be, it takes me weeks to actually warm up to people and to feel like, okay, I can actually relax with you. And I've got probably about 10 to 15 people that are like my people. And I could literally tell them everything, anything, if I'm buying a new coin or if I'm selling a coin, with no repercussions, knowing that they would always have my back and always have my support. And I always like, be very careful what you say to people online.
Sorry, is it harder, so being a woman in crypto, what challenges has that brought to you? Because it must be harder in some respects. There must be a lot of guys also messaging you for other reasons, not just...
all these shamans.
People have no
people
shame.
Like me.
They have no shame. The shit that like people have sent me like has been like creepy, weird, and it's like you can't even see from my profile photo what I really look like. It's just like there's a woman. Oh my god! It's like this kind of. Jesus Christ, lads! Like get outside in the real world. There are people all around you. It's like people that are 4 out of 10 online. Like people just. They have to interact with you. I don't know what it is. It's the anonymousness of being behind the keyboard and being able to say whatever they want to as well. And sending shit. Like, guys, stop sending fucking photos of your... I'm not going to go into that because...
So
is that really a thing?
Yeah,
are people sending dick pics?
Do you know what? Early days, I was getting a lot more than I would get now. I think because I could literally expose people out on Twitter, but it was when I was probably like 1,000, 2,000 followers. It was like a daily occurrence.
Oh my God.
One guy actually, he messaged me and was like, I've made your profile photo in my background on my computer. And I was like,
that's creepy. That's just creepy.
Nice guy, but whoa, like too weird. And then other things people were saying, like they wanted to tribute me and shit like that, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, lads, like just stick to what you're doing, stick to crypto. And when it comes to talking about crypto and stuff, people will always be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, and you'll get definitely the misogynistic comments and stuff coming across. But I grew up in a house of boys. I have 2 brothers. I kind of get the humor. I understand when people are trying to trigger you and stuff. And I kind of like to bounce back on that. I'll never get like angry with people that are acting like that, because you're just fighting an uphill battle. But women definitely, there's two different types of women in crypto.
I know.
There's people that love crypto. There's women that love crypto,
Yeah.
and then there's women that will use it to their advantage, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I'll let you talk about that, because from a male perspective.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I got you on the show, if I'm honest with you, and where, you know, we've been networking with you. There's probably 4 or 5 women like yourself who do know, or at least try, they get involved for the right reasons, but the majority, you know, but I'm sort of on the fence here, because I think to myself, well, you know, if I was a good-looking woman, if I was a woman, then I would be, in some respects, I think to myself, it's the guys' faults, the simps, and I'm talking about the guys sending you dick pics, things like that. So like the guys who are sort of, like I mentioned yesterday. I remember I saw you like this tweet about how OnlyFans and TikTok and things like that. There are a lot of women now using, you know, taking advantage of the system. But a part of me thinks, if they can, then
Yeah, sure.
I sort of don't blame them. I'm like, it's not really their fault, is it, that all these guys are simping? So I'm sort of on the fence. On one hand, I think, well, it's not their fault. I think I'd do the same. But on the other, I do hate it, and I think, ugh. Like, I've seen a lot of female Twitter profiles go to like 30k, 40k followers in weeks, and I'm like, I'm there at 9k, still like, I've not botted. I mean, yeah, you're right before about most of these big Twitters. They did bot 100% when they were early on. When no one knew them, that was the time to do it. They would bot 20 or 30k followers, and then that snowball effect comes. Everyone thinks, oh, this guy, he's got 30k followers. He's amazing.
Especially the new guys coming in thinking like, oh yeah, that's some like the big guys, the knowledgeable guys in crypto. Got to follow them.
A part of me does.
But
go on.
I agree that when you say that there's definitely a market for that kind of stuff, and I absolutely don't blame women for doing it. Like it's going to give them more followers. It'll give them more endorsements if they're trying to make money out of it as well. Like, this is how they build their networks and stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's the separation of separating crypto and like OnlyFans and shit like that. If you want to do an OnlyFans, stick to your OnlyFans account. I've no problem with that. Off you go. It's when you integrate it then, and like people like you that are trying to actually give information to people, and we're trying to educate on cryptocurrency, and then you get somebody saying, oh, like you get these tweets that are like, hey crypto addicts, how you doing this morning? And it's like, and then you get this like the hashtag Bitcoin
500 likes in an hour, like
1,500 likes, and Jesus Christ, like, are people this dense that they you know? And I get it, it's just,
I haven't got I understand it, but I haven't got respect for it, but I understand it, that there is a market for it. But as I said, we would never network with anyone like that, because you know for a fact they would just take advantage. Going back to this whole manipulating people, it's exactly that. And some of these accounts are just scammers, aren't they? They're just scammers. But the market's there, and they're able to do it. So that's really interesting. But so it has been challenging in some respects then, and I suppose early on you had to adjust to all the sort of simps and things messaging you. Did it creep you out at first, and then you sort of got used to it, or has it never got easier?
It gets easier because I am very cynical and sarcastic, and usually that's how I kind of use my defense mechanism. GIFs are fantastic at telling people, or GIFs, whatever you call them, are great at kind of, you know, sending a message back, telling people to fuck off. And also I have a lot of people that I like, and that I have a lot of followers who will jump straight in there. So there's absolutely no way anybody can kind of get through them, if you like. So if somebody says something to me online, usually I have a lot of defense. But if people come into my DMs and shit, like, I'll just end up blocking them. And it's gotten less and less as time's gone on, which is great. Like, but you know, I have a lot of people that will ask me questions and say that they respect me, and say that being a woman in crypto is rare, that, you know, you're not just pulling out your tits every time,
It really
you know.
is.
Yeah, trying to get and fleets and stuff like that, and you know, it just irritates the hell out of me. But it's one of those things that, you know, when women get in a room with 95% of men, you know, they're going, the attention's going to be on them, and they're going to use that to their advantage. If you haven't got it here, then you're going to find other ways of trying to get that following. But
100%. Speaking of followers, I know you've got a very good following, and you've been involved. Well, going back to this whole, what was your sort of trading strategy, your sort of techniques? I know you're involved in RSR, reserve community. You've got a lot of followers, and your sort of network is evolved around that in some respects. Could you tell us a little bit about how you progressed, sort of, you mentioned before about obviously getting involved in crypto. How did you sort of then progress to find these smaller projects where you do make the life-changing money, and then, you know, you also meet all these amazing people that we were just saying then, so it all comes together now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it started with YouTube and looking at YouTube videos. Like this is kind of how I found most of these coins. It was Chico Crypto that actually had mentioned about RSR, and it was back in like November 2019. But I didn't buy it until February 2020, and I bought it at like 0.0039. Like I got in early, like, and I admit that to people because they're like, "Oh, you shill it so much," but it's like, yeah, the project's fantastic, but I did get in super early, and I literally, I remember reading about it and just like dumping everything that I had into it, because I was like, this is probably the best project. Oh, it was pure FOMO, and it was before I'd even read the white paper. Like, and I advise people not to do that, but it gave me these vibes that I was like, it hasn't been done before. It's incredible. Dumped everything in, pure FOMO into it, and it just shot off from there. And I was that became my thing. But in terms of like researching it, it was always on YouTube. I didn't join Twitter until June last year, and I didn't really realize the I suppose resources that were on Twitter beforehand. I thought it was all coming from YouTube basically. And I would do a lot of Googling about crypto and stuff like that. So I was already in RSR when I came on in June. I've been in a few months. And when I got on, there was hardly anybody talking about it. So I tried to follow like 3 or 4 people that were talking about it, and these guys had other gems, like Crypto God John. He started off with, I think he had like 10,000 followers when I joined him first, and now he's like got 200,000. And then there was another guy, RSR friend, who was he was talking a lot about reserve, and he'd opened the reserve store selling t-shirts and stuff. So he put me on to Strong, which is another one that I'm in, is like passive income kind of nodes. And then I heard about H2R through the Spectre group, and then this kind of opened up this world of like all these people that were given out these incredible gems, and that's kind of how it started. I did try my hand at leverage trading, and it was absolutely disastrous. I probably lost about $5,000, I'd say. And I got stung really bad, you know, 10xing, 20xing longs and stuff. And it wasn't for me. Like reading graphs and shit is not for me. You can, with technical analysis, I feel like you can kind of do your own idea of what way you think things are going to go. And people put their own narrative into it. So I don't really like that, and I don't really follow it. So fundamentals were always my key. And you know, how a project's doing, how long has it got? It has got longevity behind it. Who are the competitors? Who are the investors? What does the white paper look like? You know, are the team completely doxed? This is the kind of stuff that I would fall for, and I that's what my kind of strategy is, and it's been working out well for me so far, apart from the way the market's running. But that's my strategy.
Very like that. And it's also we're very like-minded. You also meet all these other like-minded people, you network with them, and you sort of build your foundations off that. But you were just saying about leverage trading. I think, you know, I've definitely been caught up in that. It got a bit addictive as well, you know, sort of. I think when you lose, you want to make it back and win it. You can't take loss. You can't take a loss. You have to just sort of get over that and cut your losses and get over it. I think a lot of people, leverage traders, lie about how much they've made, and they lie to themselves as well. But this game, as like getting into these tiny startup low cap projects, is actually a very stable game, isn't it? It's very level-headed. It's it's doable. I've got a lot of friends who got into crypto, and they're looking at Blockfolio and the chart every 5 minutes. It's not like that, is it? It's very chilled. You get in, you get involved in the communities, you get to know people, and all this adds value. And then you're making money on top of that. Sometimes life-changing money, and it's like, isn't it amazing? It's just an amazing space to be in. I absolutely love this space. And obviously we've got the B Word conference tomorrow, which has been talked about before. Elon Musk, Jack Dorsey, and Cathie Wood are all attending. And hopefully, I'm really thinking that tomorrow's will be a big day, because Elon Musk has played the bad guy for so long now, and I feel like it's a game that he's playing. He wants to portray himself as one thing, but then once he switches to the good guy, everyone's just like, yeah. It's like that the old superhero story, isn't it? They always turn out like they're always bad at one point, and then they turn good, and then because they've been bad, everyone can see the good even more through that. So I'm really excited.
But he started off kind of as the good guy, then turned bad. Yeah. So I don't think there's a coming back for him in the crypto community, because people really hate him on one side because he criticized Bitcoin, on the other side because he, even to this date, he's still shilling Dogecoin and other shitcoins. Yeah.
I don't know what his narrative is as well. Like, I'm not sure what exactly he's looking to get out of being in the crypto space as well. Like, I'm not sure what his thought process is. Like, he's a very intelligent guy. He obviously knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
And people are, some people are like, get out of crypto and stop trying to shake the market. But what is it that he's actually trying to do? What is it that he's trying to achieve in this market? Is he just being a bit of a rebel and trying to stir the pot? Or is there something deeper to it? And I'm really interested to find out now with this conference how he portrays himself. I mean, he portrays himself in a different way on Twitter to how I'm sure he's going to portray himself tomorrow. So it will be really interesting to see the real Elon Musk and how he, what kind of thought process he has. He fascinates me in terms of like the whole Doge thing. And I get what he's saying with, Doge being comparable to like fiat, in that it is, you can print as much of it as you want, and why not have Doge over fiat at the end of the day? Because, there's no gold standard anymore. Fiat is just basically, they can print as much of it as they want. Same with fiat and Doge. Like, they're very comparable, I suppose.
They're both shit coins.
He's trying to get people, I suppose, thinking. It's true. I don't know. It fascinates me. So I'm really interested now to see what happens tomorrow.
Do you have any expectations for tomorrow, like certain topics or whatever they could speak about?
Not really. I'm not really sure what they're going to actually be talking about. I'm just going to kind of wait and see. I don't know.
Yeah. It's hard.
With the way the market is as well, like the narrative, like, well, I'm not sure what way it's going to go, but I'm sure they won't be looking at price. They'll be looking at maybe, futuristic, like how is it going to be adopted? I don't believe that Bitcoin can be adopted as a currency as such, with the volatility. Not until it's fully mined anyway, which is, when is it? 2,140 or something.
Yeah, we'll have to work on. People watching this going, it's as it happens, that was 100 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we're all going to be dead, like, when it's actually, able to be completely mined and fully available as a supply. So it's really interesting to know. And with derivatives and stuff like that, how could Bitcoin ever be a currency as such? But I won't get into that, because the maxis will absolutely come for me. So I'll just stay out of it.
You get even more DMs and harassed.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, more blocks.
I think Elon Musk is just too clever, and he would never give his game away. But personally, my opinion is that he's using crypto to fund his expeditions, his projects, his programs. I know, obviously, it's just my opinion. I don't know, but he's never going to give away what he's doing. He's just too clever. A guy that clever is never going to show his cards.
I'm expecting sort of like Elon Musk, maybe with other either big companies or big crypto Vice Capital's creating something like green energy for Bitcoin mining, something like that, like on very, very mass scale for North America, Canada, stuff like that. And I'm also expecting something in that direction to see tomorrow in the conference, like not concrete plans, but something in that direction that it's needed and how they can approach something like this.
Some sort of teaser.
That'll probably be one of the biggest topics is the green energy. And you know, with the mining and stuff like that, like you've seen all the miners that were being shipped out of China as well, and how much energy that would consume. But like, I don't know, like there's so much else in the world that's you know, causing more issues with energy consumption. Bitcoin's really they're really like digging for the bottom of the barrel, trying to find like reasons why Bitcoin is you know, detrimental to the population. I'd say they would bring that up and try and, you know, reduce that FUD on green energy for sure.
It's crazy. Go on.
Everyone bringing up that stuff that Bitcoin is damaging the environment with the energy consumption, all that stuff. Everyone has their agenda to come up with that. I don't think anyone of these guys genuinely cares about the environment. Like the banks and the media bringing that up, obviously their agenda is just to destroy Bitcoin. And I think if guys like Elon Musk are talking about this, they have their agenda in creating something in that space. And at the end, it's also just about the money.
Yeah, it is about the money, but I also feel like there's a little bit of legacy there with Elon Musk. Whatever he does, he leaves a legacy behind. So part of me is hoping that he'll do the same thing with crypto. I just feel like I know he's hated by a lot of people now, and I've had my fair share of, you know, moments where I've threw my keyboard around the room because he's fucking done stupid shit. But I just feel like whatever he does, he leaves a legacy behind. So I'm really hoping that tomorrow might just get some teasers, like you said. But it's a big day tomorrow, and with the markets now teetering,
we need a big day.
Yeah, but it could go either way, couldn't it? It could go either way tomorrow. But you know, if you look at Cathie Wood and Jack Dorsey, they're both massive bulls. So there's no way they're going to go on and FUD.
No, I really don't expect anything bad from the conference. Only positive stuff, if anything. But getting back to Elon Musk and his legacy in crypto, I just can't see him as a person be like the crypto spokesman, because he's kind of like a genius billionaire stuck in a child. I'm not sure how to explain it, but he never really had a childhood, as far as I know. He started his first company super early, sold his first company super early, like in his teens, and maybe it's now like getting out and he's being a child again. So I personally see Michael Saylor as a better spokesperson for crypto.
Definitely. Yeah. Michael Saylor's a little bit. He's quite aggressive, isn't he? With trying, but I like it. You know, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining, but I'm just looking. I'm able to look from a bit of a, you know, a in between standpoint where, you know, obviously I'm a Bitcoin bull, but I do find that he's quite aggressive. You know, he's telling people to sell the houses the week and buy Bitcoin.
Did you say that?
Get loan. Worst advice ever.
Get credit cards, loans, sell your house, buy Bitcoin. It's like, it's a bit aggressive.
Tell your wife, tell your kids.
Some countries, would.
They would, yeah. I love he's so ballsy as well, and I think that I love how he speaks, and I love how he kind of gets fire up in people as well.
Yeah.
That element of crypto, though, you nearly have to shout at people to listen sometimes, and to get heard as well. People do some stupid things. People are really greedy. People they're impatient. It's, you know, and it's really hard to get a message across to people sometimes. And then, like I said, you don't know who to believe as well. But Michael Saylor, I just love the way he puts things across. And he obviously being a Bitcoin maxi as well.
He's calm, isn't he? He's quite calm, isn't he? I can watch Michael Saylor talking about. You just know he's so clued up. Yeah. Obviously, he's been involved in the stock market for years. He was going balls deep into Apple when it was fucking like dirt cheap, and he was calling that he was saying that Apple was going to be the next big thing. Smartphones. This was like back in 2002. So 2003 was it? But he's a really smart guy. He knows all the facts, but it was detrimental, wasn't it? Michael Saylor entering the space. It never happened before. There was never really a spokesman, was there, in crypto who really came forward of that caliber and put, basically everything on the line. Because he has, hasn't he now? He's put everything that he's got into crypto now.
Do we know how much he actually owns? I don't actually know.
He has I think it's MicroStrategy holds 2.5 billion. 100,000 bitcoins they had, and they've spent on average 25k per bitcoin, so 2.5 billion.
Mental. That is absolutely crazy, and I'm sure that they'd be DCAing the whole way in and constantly buying. I mean, like he I don't think he's ever going to let up. He'll be holding Bitcoin, and it's this. You always think when people say, I'm going to hold Bitcoin, I'm never going to sell it. Are they of the mindset that they think that Bitcoin will be, a currency in future, I suppose, that they won't have to sell it, that they will just, buy it. And these are going to be the elite, I suppose, in, 50 years time. Generational wealth is just going to be massive. It's mind-blowing to think where it could go, but then you kind of think, which way could it pivot in the crypto market? Is there something else that can kind of slip in and take over Bitcoin? Is there something else that can be better, a better version of Bitcoin, if you like? And it's going to be amazing to watch the whole space unravel in the next few years.
MicroStrategy owns just over 100,000 Bitcoins now. I've just checked it out then, $3 billion. But that was
at current prices, but they've put in around 2.5.
Yeah, that was a month ago, so it's slightly less than 3 billion now. But some people are down 60-70%. Not just with Bitcoin, but with altcoins as well. Only in the last 2 months, it's been harsh, hasn't it? Compared to 2017. It's been harsh, but it's been a quick bleed rather than a slow bleed. 2017.
It's kind of turning into a slow bleed on top of the harsh bleed we had.
It feels very different, doesn't it? Like it feels very I don't know what it is. Like it's more painful or something this time around. I don't know why. I think maybe a lot of us I got back in after everything had crashed, so I actually didn't feel that.
You've done really well there. How did you manage to stay out? I mean, I was buying back in at 10k, and
she probably had a real job.
I bought
no time to sit on Telegram.
Yeah, I was fear though as well, because it had gone up so fast, and then I'd taken it out, and it had doubled again at that stage. That I was just fearful of the market. I bought back in when Bitcoin was like 5,500, but it wasn't Bitcoin I bought. It was several different projects. And I think that, this time around, because I bought in heavy, held a lot of stuff, I've sold very little at the start, like when we were top heavy. I'm holding all of my reserves still. I haven't sold a single token, which is extremely painful.
I was gonna say we try and slowly take profits. I mean, even if you only take 20 or 30%, just take something, and it is painful, isn't it? I've been there so many times.
Tax reasons mostly, that I didn't want to, I didn't want to make any realized gains from it. It was, I knew that this was going to be a long-term hold for me. I knew it's something that 2 or 3 years down the line, I'm going to probably stake it through arbitrage and not have to worry about that. But it was really hard to think that I could have tripled, quadrupled my bag.
Buy back in cheaper.
The swing trading is just, I'm not made for that either. There was a few things that I did sell, but mainly I kept most of it. So the passive income thing for me is kind of where I've been leaning more so now, is making nodes and trying to stake things, and that gives you a little bit of more reassurance and security, I suppose. And it's multi-dimensional. You can hold several coins, you can flip shit coins, you can do a little bit of trading if you want to, you get that gambling buzz, I suppose, that people get.
Yeah.
You know, because otherwise people just keep flipping coins and missing out on opportunities. But yeah, I just think that I should have sold a little bit earlier. But you know, it is what it is now.
What it is, yeah. It is what it is. I think we're always going to have that situation where we're going to say, especially in trading in crypto, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. You just sort of have to keep moving forward. But it's definitely a long-term project. And you just mentioned then about people gambling and flipping, and you can sort of diversify your portfolio to account for all this, can't you? That's something that we've been doing for years, and it's really interesting actually how you can sort of put aside 5% of your portfolio just to gamble, and even if you lose that 5%, it's protected the other 95%, because otherwise, if you hadn't have had that 5%, you would have gambled it all. Some people are doing that, aren't they? They're gambling literally everything, and it's like, you know, the buzz is there, but I feel like it's too much of a buzz. People can't handle it. They want to do it. They want to gamble, but when they put the whole portfolio, they can't handle it. It's so emotional. The dopamine rush is just insane. You're not sleeping at night, and it becomes then addictive. It's a rut that you're in. Got to make your money back. There's so much involved into, and I think, as you just said, then being sensible and sort of. I think your trading style, that's what suits you. And if you hold good projects long term that you believe in, then there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. But I definitely would be taking some profits, some profits, might I say, even a small amount.
Yeah, I know you should, and I would actually recommend that to people, but I never take my own advice. That's the thing. We always recommend the best things and what we should do,
I've been there,
and then we do the opposite. And I think, with crypto moves so fast. Like one week feels like a month feels like a year here sometimes, and you have to kind of keep your finger on the pulse. And it becomes very addictive, like sleep. I definitely lost a lot of sleep when we were top heavy because I was afraid I was going to miss something.
We said this, didn't we? Yeah, we said this.
We did. I flipped a bit of shit coins as well. Like, I'll be honest, I bought the meme coins. I, tried to make a little bit on them, and it didn't really go anywhere. But I think that everybody should take opportunities like that for, a little bit of gains. But I've heard people like with life savings going into crypto, and you think, Jesus, guys, like this is not the place to be doing that. Like
me.
You easy, tiger. But it's like, Jesus Christ, don't be doing it. Don't put life savings in and shit, because it's
100%.
Yeah, I get it, the opportunity and like the thought of what it could be, but fuck, it's such a bad move, especially you see the way the market went.
It depends on your personality as well. Most people, if they lost the life savings, they would just sort of go, okay, that's it. But But there is a tiny percentage of people who are like, right, that's my mission now, is to make that back, and it's through that they're able. But it's such a minute minority that you can't that you just can't recommend that, because it just doesn't apply to most people. So there's just no point even mentioning that. So as I said, then the market's moving really fast, and we never know what's coming tomorrow. But to finish this off, going to ask you, end of the year price prediction for Bitcoin. What's your thoughts?
I'd probably say, August turnaround, September turnaround, probably post summer, there's probably going to be a bit more of a shift in the upwards direction. So probably be conservative and say about maybe 40,000, just for a safe bet.
Yeah. Hoping something similar.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah, it does sound reasonable. Slightly conservative.
Yeah, I'm
bump it up to 50.
So sick of people coming for me for price predictions. I'm like staying conservative, and if it goes higher, great.
I like that. I really like that. That's a good outlook, because whatever happens, if it does get broken, if you stay conservative, then you're always winning and you're always happy. That's a good mindset to have, actually.
As long as my Ethereum hits 10K, I'm happy. No
you
problem.
don't care.
Thank you so much for coming on today, Niamh. Really appreciate it.
No problem, guys. It's great being here.
Have a great day. We'll catch you later. We could have you on again later, when the markets pick up later in the year. Want to come
Yeah.
on again? We can.
Maybe next year or
We'll be a little-
2023
That'd be great.
when the
We'll be
market gets
a
better.
little bit more enthusiastic, I think. We'll be on a buzz then.
Great. Take care.
Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Bye bye.